All right, let's go to Hendrik Hertzberg. I want to talk about your article in New Yorker this week. A great article. But first, let's talk about the cover.
Yeah, really.
you can't judge a magazine by its cover, but New Yorker cover already causing some outrage.
Yeah,
what do you think?
You can't. Yeah, usually the New Yorker cover doesn't have anything to do with what's inside the magazine, and in fact, it doesn't have anything to do with what's inside the magazine this time.
Well,
it has to do with what's out there, what's crazy out there. These insane lies about Obama that are all over the place.
You guys surprised by the reaction? The Obama campaign condemned it. The McCain campaign came out.
And
when you think about it, it's kind of logical that they would. You know, what are they going to say? Oh, do we think that's a wonderful cover? I don't think so.
Mika, you say it's dangerous.
I just, my first reaction when I saw it is, do you really? I mean, there's racial stuff. There's obviously allusions to
charge right in there. Yeah, I mean, remember the cover we had.
I know they're, of course, and they have every right to do it. I just wouldn't go there. I think that this is one of the dangers of this election that we haven't seen before, that, at least some of the campaigns have learned the hard way.
What, are we Danes now?
No, I'm just,
are we not men?
Danes are
I
really
personally
great
don't
people.
love it.
Danes are some of the greatest people I know.
Yeah,
Danes.
Wonderful.
But it really does. What a contrast. Right now, there's somebody actually in Amsterdam, I believe, I read over the weekend, who's been arrested because they did a cartoon making fun of Muslims and Christians. We've got a First Amendment here, and sometimes, like you said, it can get kind of ugly.
Yeah, having the First Amendment is no picnic. Although in this case it is. I don't think nobody's going to come around and arrest anybody at the New Yorker over this. I guess there'll be people. Some people won't be able to get the joke, or will think it's dangerous to even allude to these lies.
Right.
But we don't think so. We think charge in there and expose it.
Right.
Let's talk about your article this week. Fascinating article. The flip-flop-flap. A lot of people think that Barack Obama is betraying his base by flip-flopping on several issues. Schwarzenegger endorsed flip-flopping yesterday, said it's a wonderful thing.
We have that. I want to play
Let's show a clip of Schwarzenegger.
In politics out there, they always say, well, now I don't know anymore what he really stands for. He has just changed his mind and he's flip-flopping and all those kind of things. Let me tell you something. Flip-flopping is getting a bad rap, because I think it is great when someone has made a mistake. And when someone has for 20 or 30 years been in the wrong place with his idea and with his ideology and says, something, I changed my mind. I'm now for this. As long as he's honest or she's honest, I think that is a wonderful thing. You can change your mind.
And you say, Hendrik, that there are actually 43 people in U.S. history who have been very good at flip-flopping.
Very good.
5 times in 1 week? I mean, come on.
That's not true. That's not true.
All right, 2 weeks.
That's not true. No, maybe 1 time, 2 times in 1 year.
No.
You're saying Obama?
I'm saying there's no flip-flop on Iraq, certainly. The only one maybe where you can fault him properly for the change is the FISA bill. But I don't.
What about guns? Where you told the Chicago Tribune last year he was for the D.C. ban, and then the day the Supreme Court overruled the D.C. ban, he said, I'm glad they have adopted my position.
He didn't say that. He said, I'm glad they're giving... admittedly, this was Weasley. But he said... But he didn't say that.
I'd rather be called a flip-flopper than a weasel.
He didn't say he agreed with the decision. He said he was glad that they were giving much-needed guidance to local communities.
But he did suggest that they adopted his position.
But he didn't. They didn't. The main thing is that if there's a bunch of justices on the Supreme Court that are
by the way,
Barack
if this were prime time, I would then weigh into abortion before you had a chance to gather your thoughts.
We're not.
Yeah, abortion. Abortion. His position on abortion is now the only position that the position that's only been adopted by Thomas and Scalia regarding the fact that a woman's mental health should have nothing to do with not allowing them to have late-term abortions.
Not a woman's mental health. Mental distress as the sole justification for a very late-term abortion, and it is exactly in line with what he wrote in his book. in the audacity of hope. There's a paragraph devoted to this very thing. That's just what he says.
Mikey B?
See, well, I'm with Rick on this one, and this is just a couple of lines out of his front of the book piece in the New Yorker this week. Although the better newspapers have regular features devoted to evaluating the candidates' proposals for workability, the MSM, mainstream media, generally eschews value judgments about the merits. The MSM, especially the cable news intravenous drip, prefers flip-flops, and then the kicker on it is flip-flops are preferable to cement shoes, especially in summertime.
Amen, brother.
And I like this line, Obama, it turns out, is a politician. Period.
As Joe helpfully pointed out, like 43 other characters we could name, plus all the guys of those 43 defeated.
Okay.
You just don't get to that level without being appalled.
I do think that he has somehow impacted his narrative. I mean, if you read the opinion pages and if you follow him,
don't Americans want guys that are pragmatic as their president?
I think there's two things. Number one, obviously you got to do what it takes to win, and that's probably what he's doing here. But his whole narrative has been change in somebody who's not old Washington Chronicle.
Is it that he flips and flops, or that any politician flips and flops, or is it more so that we obsess about little flips and smaller flops?
You know what? The truth is somewhere in the middle always. The truth is somewhere in the middle always, but it's not only us.
I mean, the fact is there is 24/7 news coverage, and politicians.
And these are major issues.
People like to attack people in cable news and in the blogs, but they actually are helpful in pointing out what people's positions are.
Who could we ask about this?
We can debate it, and Americans are pretty smart about it. I don't know. You know who I wish we could get a hold of?
Who?
To ask, because we've got Hendrik here.
Yeah, Hendrik just wrote this article, Flip, Flop, Flap.
And also this New Yorker
cover with the Obamas. I mean, my goodness.
It would be embarrassing if we had Hendrik here and then he had to answer to somebody in the Obama campaign.
I know. We wouldn't want to put him on the spot like that.
Michelle
That would be
Obama
uncomfortable.
I never do that, Mike. I just wouldn't do that.